is called to order. Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Connor.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Approval for electronic participation by a school board member. I don't think we have anybody today for electronics, so we move on for approval of agenda. And this is your time to make any item you want removed or moved out of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. DePaul, Mrs. Lowry, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Aline,
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Gupta,
Yes.
Mr. DePaul,
Yes.
Mr. Gilio,
Yes.
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you. Next one is chair comment. I don't have any comment, so next one is public comment. Dr. Connor.
Yes. Public comments. In accordance with policy BDDH, public participation, members of the community are invited and encouraged to attend meetings of the Lynchburg City School Board to observe its deliberations. Any member of the community may address the board on matters related to the Lynchburg City Public Schools at any regular meeting. Persons or group wishing to address the school board may do so by choosing one of the following. Leave a voice message on the school board clerk's phone line at 434-515-5077. Messages will be played during the public comment section of the school board meeting. Address the board in person during the public meeting. Persons desiring to address the school board by voicemail message shall submit the voicemail to the school board clerk no later than 3:30 p.m. on the day of the board meeting. Persons desiring to address the school board in person shall contact the clerk of the school board no later than 3:30 p.m. on the day of the school board meeting, or by signing the public comment form, which shall be available to the public 15 minutes before the meeting starts. Each person requesting to speak shall identify the subject they want to address, and if the speaker represents a group, the speaker must identify the group. Persons appearing before the school board will not be allowed to campaign for public office or promote private business ventures, and should not use profanity or vulgar language or gestures, make comments about a public official or an employee that are not related to the public official or employee's official duties, engage in behavior that disrupts the meeting or intimidates others, or address the school board on issues that do not concern the services, policies, role, and/or responsibilities of the school board. Individual speakers shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. A speaker representing a group shall limit their comments to 5 minutes. The representative shall identify the group at the beginning of their presentation. A group may have no more than one spokesperson. The total allotted time for public comments at school board meetings is 30 minutes. Voicemail messages to be played are also limited to 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for speakers representing a group. Priority will be given to in-person comments before voicemail messages in the following order: 1, students; 2, staff; 3, parents, guardians; and 4, community members. Public comments are reserved for public to provide input. The board does not respond to comments, answer questions, or otherwise engage in discussion at this time. The chair is responsible for orderly conduct of the meeting and rules on such matters as the appropriateness of the subject being presented and the length of time for such presentation. No one will be allowed to make additional presentations until everyone who wishes to speak has an opportunity to make their initial presentation. Upon recognition by the chair, the speaker should clearly state name, address, and subject of the speaker's remarks. The speaker shall address the chair, and if At the conclusion of the speaker's remarks, any school board member desires further information, said member addresses the speaker only with the permission of the chair. The courtesy of the school board shall be extended to the speaker, and the speaker shall respect the privilege extended by the school board or be ruled out of order by the chair. Do we have any phone messages?
No, sir.
Okay. I have 3 people speaking today. I have Aaron Reed, an employee, a staff member, Robert Flood, community member, and Kimberly Dykes Harshly, community member. Mr. Reed.
Good evening. My name is Aaron Reed, and the group I'm speaking for is the Lynchburg Education Association. Good evening. My name is Aaron Reed, and I speak to you tonight as the Vice President of the LEA. For those of you that I have not yet met, I am a 28-year veteran teacher. I am a product of Lynchburg City Schools and of EC Glass High School, class of 1994. I am the chair of the English department at EC Glass. I teach AP Language and Composition. I teach AP Research. I was the first teacher in the state of Virginia to bring AP African American Studies here to Lynchburg, and indeed the entire state. In 2023, the VHSL named me the Speech Educator of the Year for the state of Virginia. Tonight, I come to you with encouragement and a concern related to your focus on academic success and rigor in the classrooms of LCS. At the July meeting of this board, the chairman announced that the focus for the upcoming school year for this board would be raising the level of academic success and rigor in classrooms around the division. As a teacher, I welcome this focus, and I look forward to working with you, with our new leadership, and the colleagues in my building to do this very thing. But I offer a word of warning as we begin conversations about academics in the classroom. Too often, school systems and school boards can become blindsided to educational fads and for-profit players in the world of schools. The result can be policies and investments that do not have our kids' best interest in mind. 2 examples of these are educational technology and the for-profit testing world that infects our schools. Businesses in these domains seek to supply school systems with ready-made programs, promising powerful data to shape instruction with ready-made programs. But my warning to you tonight is this: if we give way to these industries, we are going to affect staff morale, classroom autonomy, and most of all, student joy. And let's start by centering student joy. You and I want our school system to graduate students who are proficient in reading, mathematical thinking, with an understanding of the value of history and science, together with experiences in the technical fields and cultural arts. But none of that matters if our graduates are burned out husks of a student, more able to take a standardized test than to pursue and engage in their real passions. And what robs students of this joy of learning? Well, testing, to start. Consider this. Every time that you as the board are presented with data or a report on student achievement, that is time that students have spent taking a test of some kind. Maybe it was a multiple choice test, maybe it was an essay test, maybe it was an oral language fluency at a young age, but whatever the case, it was classroom time spent checking for this understanding. And we do want to check for understanding, no one is denying that. But what, in your opinion, is the correct ratio of time students spend learning, discussing, and exploring versus time spent testing? I'm going to start with a snapshot for you of what this coming year's kindergarten class is going to take for tests. I'm going to list for you now, in an overwhelming and influential way, what they are about to do. These are the 5- and 6-year-olds in your division. Kindergartners are going to start by taking a vowels assessment 3 times a year. Each of those testing periods lasts a 3-week window of time. Then they're going to take a VKRP test twice a year, which takes 45 minutes per child, and each child has to be tested individually. Next comes our reading series, benchmark, and the unit assessments given. This happens 5 times a year for a total of 10 assessments. Each assessment takes about 1 full school day. After that is the foundations assessment, a supplemental phonics program, which requires six sets of 3 tests each. While each test is admittedly only 5 minutes long per student, it provides you the exact same data that VALS does. But wait, because next are ESGI tests. There are 24 of these in a year, again, administered individually to each student. And we're not done, because kindergarten is also required to give 9 weeks assessments, which means 4 times a year. These take about 30 minutes out of the day for 5 consecutive days. And this year, there's an indication that LCS will add some IXL testing to early elementary for more data collection. Are you exhausted yet? Are you tired? Are you sad? Congratulations. You have the smallest inkling of what it feels like to be a kindergarten teacher in your division. No one is saying that all tests are bad, and I want to recognize the new leadership we have in the Office of the Superintendent, the Deputy Superintendent, as well as those in teaching and learning. We look forward to working with you to fix this.
Thank you. Now we have Mr. Robert Flood, community member.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Lynchburg City School Board letting me speak again. Been a minute, but it's 2 topics I'd like to speak on, and I'd like to welcome the new superintendent to Lynchburg. I've been working with young people off and on for about 30 years with behavior problems. I work with some young adults with problems. And when they get in trouble, they get punished. I have been coming down here, I think, a couple Tuesdays last month, and I couldn't really see the person that I really wanted to direct this to, but I think he's here today. It was a situation that happened, and I'm going back a little bit, but I want to bring it to the front because I don't understand why this person's still on the school board. It was an incident that happened that the superintendent had something to go over her pitching. It's supposed to have been a joke. I don't understand how a grown person can make a joke out of a grown woman that stood up here before we got the new superintendent and spoke for everybody and tried to help everybody. And I know he's been strict of some of his rules that he, under his department of behavior. But I don't understand, if you can't vote, why are you sitting in here? Why are you on the school board when somebody else could take your place? Kids get in trouble, and they get a whole year over something small. And I think you had something to do with that. And it's something we should look at. Everybody that he had something or hand in, you need to look at every case. Some of these kids got sent home for little things for a whole year, 6 months. And it might have been something that could have stayed in school or get suspended and come back. But if a grown person can do something and get a pat on the back, how can you punish a kid when he do something even minor than that? We have a problem with that. We always, get politics with right and wrong. It's the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. And I know it just wasn't him. He might have never said it, but no one person will put it up there and make it a joke. It wasn't a joke. A joke is when I say about 9 kids want to come here to speak to him, but why he kicked them out of school and they don't show up. That's a joke. A joke is not when you put a picture of a grown person that represents the school and call it a joke after you get caught. I don't understand why you would still be here, but that's a school board and Lynchburg City Council. That's my first thing I wanted to talk about. And I wanted to bring it out because I think he needs to leave. That's just my opinion. Second thing, Mr. McCain, I know that he was kind of punished because he stood up here over 5 minutes. I'm trying to make mine less than 5 minutes because he was speaking the truth. 25, 30 years this man been talking about the scores of kids that look like me are different. 25 years. I know this is a new school board. Most of y'all members are new, some of y'all are not. But we can't wait 25 more years and nothing happened. 25 years. How do scores be that low and you have done nothing about it? Not y'all in general. But we got to do something about that. Kids failing, 29%. English, math. It's a problem with that. How you do it 25 years and nobody look into it? That's a problem. Hopefully we can do it and maybe not talk about the problem, but talk about the solution. Our kids need us. That's why I can't speak a lot about the education part, but the behavior, if they get in trouble, how they don't stay in school. That's what I've been dealing with for 30 years. I love all kids, but I don't want to see no kids be treated different than a grown person be treated. You can punish a kid, but why can't you punish a grown person? Because when he speaks the truth hurts, but we got to play politics. You rub my back, I rub yours, we'll stay right here. The lady that spoke up, she's gone. That was Miss Preston. She spoke up because she's done the right thing. Then we come back two or three Tuesdays later, everybody else want to get in or rush to judgment. You said what you said and you meant what you said, but you heard so much feedback from them, you had to change your mind. We don't have to get there. All we got to do is do the right thing for these kids. These kids are our future. Let's make it better, people. Thank you.
Now we have Kimberly Dyke Harsley, a community member.
Greetings and congratulations to the new school board members. I just want to remind myself and anyone else who isn't aware, the Lynchburg City Schools mission statement, according to the website, states, every child by name and by need to graduation and beyond. What that means to me and what I would like to see. We have to address high schoolers who have had considerable learning loss over the past 5 years. I'm urging everyone who can hear my voice and see me on this YouTube channel to reach out to your school board members, starting with the chair. Reach out to your new superintendent to include 9th through 12th graders in any plan that any committee creates to address learning loss, attendance, etc. There's no way in the world we can afford to wait another 10 years for the next group to come up. Yes, kindergarten, first, second, third, and all of the other grades need to be addressed, but you cannot leave out the ones who suffered the longest. They're getting ready to enter into the adult world. And we should be reminded that 78%, I believe, of those in prison cannot read on grade level. So I have to question any staff, any administrator, any board member who does not want to include high schoolers, 9th through 12th, that's only 4 grades, 2 schools in the city. If you don't want to include them in the rigorous plan to address learning loss, then I have to question where you want them to go. Are you feeding them to the court system? Are you feeding them to the prison? Is there a kickback for this? Just questions I ask myself. Also to new school board members. In the past, presentations have been made to the board prior to this one. And some of the questions that were asked by those board members indicated to me that those board members had not done their research. Like parents are told, it's on the website. The policies need to be read, every word. for every policy. Go through that website is so tedious. But I'm smart. I know how to navigate. There are other smart people who just don't know how to navigate. Grandparents, they don't know where to find the information. The website, hopefully we have some graphic engineers or designers coming out of the public schools who can help with that. However, there is so much information that is on the website that parents aren't aware of, staff isn't aware of, board members aren't aware of, and maybe administrators. It's on the website. However, there's a gap in the learning, in the knowing, in the utilizing of those resources. I heard a teacher consistently say since October, attendance is the biggest issue. And then I thought about William Marvin Bass Elementary. And they have intercessions for children who need it. We had grandchildren to go through there, and it was very helpful. So if you have high schoolers who may have chronic absenteeism, and we can't assume that all learning loss is due to behavior issues or chronic absenteeism. Could be due to classroom management, lack of quality instruction, other things that may impact. But could those high schoolers get in extra learning time by having intercession attendance, whether in their home school or attending somewhere else? Just a thought, and thank you for listening. I hope these ideas will penetrate and go into a meeting somewhere, some committee by, I'll save that for the next time. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment for today.
Thank you. Next one is consent agenda. Is a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Mrs. Lowry, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Eileen,
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Gupta,
Yes.
Mr. DePaul.
Yes.
Mr. Gilio,
Yes.
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next one is finance report, Dr. Majid.
Good evening. I'm actually going to turn this over to Ms. Jamies for the financial reports.
Good evening, Chairman Gupta, members of the school board, and Dr. Majid. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Before you are copious amounts of data provided for May and June. You will notice you did not receive a report at the last meeting because that was the organizational meeting, and so there wasn't time on the agenda to provide the May report. As a result, we're going to go with the most recent report, which is June, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that this evening. I always preface June's financial reports with the fact that even though this is the last month of the fiscal year, these numbers are not always final numbers for the fiscal year. There are payrolls, because payroll doesn't end on June 30th, the way a fiscal year does. There's payrolls that happen in July that will need to be accrued back into the June numbers, which will adjust them from this report you're reviewing now. In addition, the auditors will be visiting us in 2 weeks for a fun, festive event. And so they will additionally make changes by the Auditor of Public Account Standards and move things around in our fiscal year, which will cause some changes as well. So June reports aren't always final reports. Let's get into the fun of it, shall we? So as of June, marks 100% of the fiscal year passing. The percent of revenues collected versus original appropriation, or what I budgeted at the time, was 99.12%. You're welcome. We got pretty close to that 100%. The amount of expenditures versus the original appropriation was 97.17%, which means we collected a little bit more revenue than at present, based on these numbers, than we expended. We have some additional encumbrances that we'll need to clear out for items that took place in June but has not been billed yet, and we're waiting for those to be billed. So that will bring that number up to 97.32%, which is still good in relation to the amount of revenues that you collected. So there are a few notable variances on some of the budget lines, and I'll just point them out rather quickly to you. On line 18, function 2100, which was administration personnel, it used 109.18% of the budget. So this was due to some interim superintendent salaries and regular salaries, and then the vacation payouts of some administrative staff that left. So that pushed us over the budgeted 100% mark. On line 22, function 2200, attendance, health, and services other, which is usually our materials and supply lines, it used 110.63% of its budget, and most of those expenses were as a result, those overages were as a result of the school clinics. They required some additional items this year for operation. Line 68, function 5100, school food services personnel. It used 218.24% of its budget. It's not a huge budget line, so that number looks scary, but it's not really. The reason that was so much is the school board, in all your generosity, chose to give our nutrition school workers the bonus that the governor gave SOQ positions. So you generously provided that bonus to school nutrition as well, which kicked that number up a little bit. Like I said, it's less than a $100,000 line, so it looks significant when it's not. Line 71, function 5300, community services other, has used 129.48% of its budget related for materials and supplies related to SPED and pre-K community involvement activities. There again, that line is another small line that looks out of whack when you have just a little bit spent over in that. Line 78, function 6600, building and improvement services personnel. That is 263.02%. Again, another small line. That is for a position shared with the city. So that will equalize out once all of the books are cleared. So we share that position and get funding for that. Line 84, function 8100, classroom instruction personnel. It's used 116.02% of its budget. And so this should come as no shock to us. We did a mid-year benefits increase for our Anthem bills. And so this personnel received a lot of that increase. Remember, back last January, we went up 18.5% on our insurance to cover some bills that we're anticipating. Well, this is that decision coming into the data. Function 8500, line 85, function 8100, classroom instruction other. It used 102.71% of its budget, but that was related to some IXL learning, textbook software, and some other learning expenses in that. Line 86, function 8200, instructional support personnel. It used 141.19% of its budget, and it, there again, was as a result of the mid-year unbudgeted health insurance increases. So that is your decision coming into to the data there. Moving on, are there any questions about expenses? Trying to go quickly, there's a lot. Yes, sir.
You know, you mentioned the bonus and the governor authorized $1,000, but it was only for SOQ.
Yes, sir.
Would you mind sharing with the public how much the division put in from our pocket so that everybody gets a fair amount?
Yes,
How much
sir.
was that amount, and was that sent to everybody's paycheck in June?
So the school board decided on a $750 bonus. for full-time, half of that for part-time. And so everyone got a $750 bonus, including these school nutrition workers. So we had to kick in some local to provide it to all our employees, because the school board felt that all of our employees deserved that, not just the SOQ positions. So it cost us around a ballpark figure, I don't have the numbers in front of me, $500,000 to be able to extend that to all of the employees, as opposed to just giving it to SOQ positions.
That money has been dispersed to the,
Yes, sir, it has. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, moving on to revenues. So the state, federal, and local revenue collection rates are as follows. State, we collected 98.92%. Federal, we collected 53.69%. And local, we collected 100% of the revenues promised by the city. Thank you very much, city. So we also had miscellaneous and charges for services significantly ahead of what I budgeted, their target for. So they came in respectively at 215.63% for miscellaneous and 129.7% for charges for services. So those were pretty healthy revenue lines for us. Moving on to the monthly summary report that mainly deals with our insurance. As of June 2025 year-to-date versus June 2024 year-to-date, the balance of health insurance costs reduced by 62.86%. So that means people are getting better, hopefully. And so that is a move in the right direction that we want to see because of some decisions that we've made around our health insurance. So June 2025 ended on a positive position. We took in $286,580.37 more in receipts than we paid out in disbursements and in insurance payments that we had to pay out. So that again is moving in the right direction. So I have a couple other informational items. As you're aware, we had our pre-audit visit from the auditors June 16th through the 20th. We were way ahead of the game for that audit, and we have the full audit on August 18th through the 22nd for the FY 2025. Our intent is to provide all of the items that the auditors are going to want prior to them arriving, so that audit comes seamless and is painful, as painless. Yes, is painful. So I will entertain any other questions at this time, and if there are none, that concludes my report, and thank you for your time.
questions for Ms. James? I have one, nobody else.
Yes,
I
sir.
mentioned insurance, and we are $286,000 in black. Would you mind sharing with the board, what was the number last year? How much underwater we were last year?
So last year, we were a negative $2,309,160.75. That was in 2024, the same month in 2024.
Just for the public information, we are self-funded insured, so
Yes, sir.
the money we get is the money available for employees to use it for their health benefits. We are not, Anthem is just a sort of a manager of money.
Yes, sir.
We're not like we're not traditional insurance provider.
On a month where we break even, that is a good day for us. And that's what we aim at. We don't want to charge employees too much, but we want to charge employees enough to be able to pay the bills when we receive them. We did have a follow-up meeting with our insurance consultants, and they gave us some positive news for potentially next calendar year, starting January. Our health insurance runs on a June to December calendar year versus our fiscal year, which runs on a July to June year. So sometimes it's challenging because you have 6 months of insurance premiums in one year and then 6 months in the other. So there's a lot of information you have to make sure that you look at. But I did have a meeting with our insurance consultants. Our hard decision that we made last January of the 18.5% increase, it helped us. It helped our position, obviously. And there is potential, if we make the right decisions about some of the options that we can choose, there's a potential that we may not have to do a significant increase or an increase at all for our employees in January. So those numbers are still out, but I'm very encouraged by them and hope that we can continue on that trajectory. So,
Just have one more question. I know the overage looks good, but it's not, most of the benefits are dispersed in December or near the summer, where, employees take break and they do elective surgery.
yeah, we do during breaks have a significant more bills from injuries and
Having
stuff.
said that, I know last year, our employees took a beating because the pay raise was there, but it was negated by increase in health insurance. And I'm looking at the superintendent and saying, if these overages continue, where there'll be an intent to give that money back to the employees. So at least, we make up for the loss they have incurred this year, because some of them went back in terms of the overall paycheck.
Absolutely.
Am I making sense?
Yes, absolutely. We will run the numbers. And so in a perfect world, we would have way more money than we anticipated. But if we do start in our health insurance reserve, we carry a health insurance reserve for years that are hard versus years that are easy. But if we start building up that health insurance reserve, I would anticipate that the school board would want to reduce the premiums charged to employees in order to allow them to take some of it back into their pay. If that reserve stays healthy and our bills continue or start dropping, I think that is a perfectly generous and reasonable request to do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for all your hard work, Ms. James.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No matter, you said what I wanted to hear, but thank you. Next one is new business, strategic plan, RFP, Dr. Midget.
Okay. Good evening again. You will see here tonight for information and action, it's a request for a proposal for our strategic plan. To give a little context, the division's current plan titled a 5-year roadmap, and I'm on page 3 of the document I provided, roadmap to student success. It was originally created to guide the work from 2022 through the 2022-23 academic year. It was extended in 23-24, and then I know you all extended it in 24-25 academic years. So while that existing plan provided a structure and direction, we now need more of a forward-looking plan, inclusive planning process. And so the goal for us of putting the request for a proposal out, or RFP out, is so that we can build a unified vision that reflects our instructional goals, ensuring that we get community input, and then the long-term needs for our students and staff. So I am putting this out here today that we're able to put this RFP out so that we can start getting some vendors, some proposals, and be in a position to start our strategic planning process.
Questions for Dr. Midget?
I have a question. So I've never done this before. So is it normal practice to get a contractor and go through all that? Okay.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
I wasn't sure.
And I just wanted to make sure we're doing in a clean slate.
Yes.
There's no preconceived party or a person in mind when you do this RFP, right?
Yes,
I'm putting you on
correct.
spot, but those are the facts which needs to be
Yes, you're
out there.
correct.
This is a open bidding process. Anybody can bid.
Yes.
That's the intent?
Yes, sir, and that's absolutely the intent, and that goes along with Ms. Lowry's question, is, sometimes you may have where a superintendent comes in and they say, oh, well, I can craft the strategic plan. It should be an unbiased party that can come in, they're gonna work with all of us, get everyone's vantage points and perspectives, and then help to craft the plan from there. Yes, ma'am.
And this board delayed this because we were waiting for you to come in.
Yes, yes, yes.
We wanted you to draft the roadmap for next 5 years.
Yes, sir.
And hope you can do it so that our kids can succeed and flourish in their lives.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. Absolutely.
Other questions for Dr. Midget? Is there a motion to
Let's just
approve?
make sure that we don't reinvent the wheel, as I mentioned previously. I was involved with a comprehensive plan once, and what I recall is that we took the plan that existed before, and we each took time to edit it. We could edit it from front to back, every point, and then we put it together, have another meeting, work it through, and basically improve it ourselves. So you want to start from scratch, and you want to have unbiased information, which is good, but of course, everyone has their own bias. We don't want to throw out the past completely. When I say don't reinvent the wheel, there must be some things working, so we have to make sure that those things are included. Because when you redo everything, starting from scratch, you lose institutional knowledge. And there's good and bad institutional knowledge. But you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. So be careful as we go forth in this process. I don't see why it wouldn't pass tonight, but we don't have to do but so much. I think some tweaks will make things so much better. I think it's 20% of a particular work makes all the difference. So keep that in mind as we go forward in this process.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. And just for a level of clarity, when a consultant comes in to work on this, it's not, because it doesn't mean everything on the current plan is bad. They're going to look at all of it, but they're also going to talk with you all as board members, talk with the community, and get that full input to help us sort of craft how that goes forward. Yes, I appreciate your feedback.
All the stakeholders will be involved, parents, guardians, community members, right, school board member, everybody.
Yes, sir.
That's the purpose of bringing this person.
Yes.
It's an unbiased, 360-degree view of where we should be, where we are, and where we should be, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Is there a motion to approve the RFP?
Motion.
Mrs. Lowry?
Second.
Dr. Farmer? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Eileen,
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Gupta,
Yes.
Mr. DePaul,
Yes.
Mr. Jalil,
No,
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
Motion passes 8-1.
Thank you. Next one is proposed meeting structure. Dr. Mitchell.
Yes. So I have a request. It's for information and action tonight, but it's a proposal to adjust the board meeting structure, and this request would be effective September 2025, should it be approved. And my request is, beginning in September 2025, I'm proposing that we adjust our current two-meeting structure so that the work session can take place on the first Tuesday of each month, and then the regular meeting is held on the third Tuesday. The change will allow for our internal team time to gather information and present relevant data to you all during the work session, and then it gives you time to review that information and discuss it should you need to take a vote later in the month. So it's just a level of continuity. Right now, we have it where we have the regular session at the beginning of the month, and then later in the month, we have the work session. So whatever work that we're doing at that point carries over to the next month, versus if we could have the work session the first part of the month, if there's something that we need to gather more information for so that you're able to make a vote later in the month, it gives us that opportunity to do so and just keeps it a little cleaner. And then even for the financial perspective, it will give us more of a 30-day window versus was it 30-day?
Absolutely. Currently, invoices and bills processed through the 15th of the following month. While waiting on the prior month to close, we have to put off the board report until the beginning of the next month, which causes causes a little bit of lag time if you need to make some financial decisions and make some adjustments. So this way, if we flip the meeting schedule, I will have those financial reports through the 15th of the month and be able to make that report during that second meeting. So it would be helpful, and it would lend to less stale financials and allow you to pivot better if there's some decisions that need to be made. So
Thank
it's
you.
better fiscal oversight.
Thank you. And it'll help us all overall fiscally, instructionally, just to sort of keep things within that same month. Of course, all items will continue to be in board docs, clearly marked for informational action. Everything pretty much stays the same. The only thing I'm asking is to swap the purpose of those 2 meetings each month.
Motion.
Is there
Second?
any discussion on this?
One thing I was thinking that might help also, because I feel like sometimes people come to the podium and speak, and then after they speak, we give them the information they were looking for. So if we, and it's usually, well, they speak at the first meeting, but if we bring these up in the work session, then by the time it's come, they've gotten the answer, so it'll, guide how, if they really want to come to the podium, because it's been addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
So you think this flip is good for the school division, right?
Yes, sir.
For the teachers and the staff and
Yes, sir.
students?
It'll be helpful with us gathering information, being able to give you a clearer picture and keeping a level of continuity within that same month, if we could.
And we're looking to start this coming month.
Yes, in September. Yes, sir.
So would we do work session end of August and then do another work session September?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, for 1 month, it'll be two.
Yeah, it'll be back to back, but yes, sir.
I like perspective, so I'm just curious if there's any perspective as to why we have it the way we have it now. I'm sure there's a reason, just so I understand kind of how things are before.
When I came on school board, there used to be 2 meetings a month. And then we moved to only 1 meeting a month. And then we added a second meeting and made it a work session. So there was not a work session before, unless I'm completely offline, but to me, that 1 meeting a month was becoming too much. We were meeting for like 4.5 hours. So, but the second was made as a work session, so you can take a deeper dive into any topic or discussion, but work session became another session where we are approving policies, we are approving items, was supposed to be only for discussion. So that's how we moved from 2 meetings to 1 meeting to 2 meetings to justify the second meeting was made as a work session.
Understood. This seems to me to be a really good correction in that
Yeah.
regard.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron?
Yes.
Mr. Aline?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Dr. Gupta?
Yes.
Mr. DePaul?
Yes.
Mr. Jalil?
Yes.
Dr. Farmer?
Yes.
Mr. Poe?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next one is enterprise contract, Dr. Midget.
Yes, I'm actually going to turn this over to Ms. Jamies, and we have 2 representatives here from Enterprise that we'd like to bring forward to discuss the contract terms with you. Ms. Jamies, did you want to give them a lead in?
Sure. So let me just preface the contract piece of it. So as you're aware, our maintenance and operations have a plethora of vehicles under them. The majority of those vehicles are less than to the year 2000, were acquired before the year 2000. Some of them hold 0 value, and we're paying over $1,000 a year in insurance for them. So we have Lynchburg City Schools does not have a vehicle replacement plan. And should we institute one, it's going to be a considerable amount of CIP funding to try to do that. So the Maintenance and Operations Department worked with the administration and myself to think outside the box. Generally, as a CFO, I don't recommend lease products, and they're very aware of that. When in a local government, there's a certain amount that you can depreciate vehicles that you own. But since we are not our own fund and we are part of a general fund, we lose that depreciation factor at the end of the year. So in order to save us some money on the front end, we are recommending going to a fleet management type lease. And that is where Enterprise comes in, and I will give the show to them. So, this is Brian Noss from Enterprise Fleet. And go ahead, Brian.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Ms. James. So, like she said, my name is Brian Canals. I'm with Enterprise Fleet Management. That's okay, NOS. We're a division of Enterprise Mobility. Think Enterprise Rent-A-Car is one of our brands. So really the reason for my speaking here tonight is that we're seeking board approval for a partnership between Lynchburg City Schools and Enterprise Fleet Management. So first, I just want to kind of give you, a perspective of who we are, what we do, and then can explain some of the conversations that we've had over the past couple months with Lynchburg City Schools. So for those of you who may not know, so Enterprise is actually one of the top 10 largest privately held companies in the country. We have a fleet of about 2 million vehicles that we operate as a company across about 12 different brands, one of them being Enterprise Fleet Management. So every year we're buying roughly 1 million vehicles. We're also selling about 1 million vehicles across our company. The reason this is relevant is that we help plug our clients into that same buying power, that infrastructure and economies of scale that we've built on the rental side that's made us really successful. In Virginia alone, just the Commonwealth of Virginia, we have about 1,000 employees just within Enterprise. So large presence here, excuse me, within the Commonwealth. And again, the whole point of my saying that is to explain how we've been able to leverage our economies of scale to plug in our clients with the manufacturer relationships that we have. So if you don't mind, can you go to the next page here? Kind of difficult to see, a little wonky there, but so we started a conversation with Lynchburg City Schools regarding their aged vehicles, and with the objective to create a more proactive strategy for replacement with their vehicles. In discussions, we learned that there's about 65% of the current light and medium duty fleet is well over 10 years old. So what comes with that is, higher maintenance cost items because these vehicles are out of warranty. Sometimes parts aren't even made anymore, but also significantly degraded resale on these vehicles. Previous budgets looking 5, 10 plus years past have caused inconsistent investments within the fleet, and resale has been significantly reduced. Again, safety features in particular are significantly outdated on these vehicles given the age of them. So statistically speaking, new vehicles have significantly lower safety or maintenance expense, plus improved safety and improved fuel economy. So the solutions that we've been discussing, the whole goal of our discussions and the partnership is to assist in planning and setting up, just like Ms. James said, a proactive vehicle replacement strategy. And with this, we'll shift from replacing inoperable vehicles, as some of the current practices, to proactively planning vehicle purchases. In our discussions and in our partnership, we'll utilize Sourcewell, which, if those of you who may not be familiar, it's a government purchasing cooperative where Enterprise Fleet Management has been awarded a contract for fleet management. And due diligence has already been completed through that. So through a partnership, and I'll hit on some of the main points that we do here, but a benefit, a large one, is that we're leveraging an open-ended lease to maximize cash flow and recognize vehicle equity. This is different than a traditional lease, and where there's not wear and tear fees, there's no mileage penalties or anything like that. In doing so, we're going to shorten the current vehicle life cycle. Right now, current cycle time, essentially from buying a vehicle to when it is retired from the fleet, is almost 18 years. So it's 17.6 years within the vehicle fleet. So think about the safety concerns that come with that and the diminished resale. We're going to get that 18 years down to 5 years. We're going to free up more than $70,000 in capital in the first year just from the resale of older vehicles. Fuel costs is going to be reduced by about 39% from newer, more efficient vehicles. Maintenance is going to decrease itself by around 67%. So again, maximizing cash flow, recognizing equity from vehicles sold, and creating an internal vehicle replacement fund. And then lastly, we're going to be able to leverage Enterprise Fleet Management's Enterprise Fleet Management's ability to sell vehicles at an average of about 10% above what the commercial market is calling for on these vehicles due to the volume and frequency that we're selling vehicles. So my overall recommendation is that by partnering with Enterprise Fleet Management, Lynchburg City Schools is going to be able to replace 18 of your most aged vehicles your first year, We're going to streamline operational processes with the help of an account team that's going to meet multiple times a year with the financial team and operational team to discuss goals and objectives and most strategic buying options. We're going to privatize resale process for greater returns. We're going to lower the total cost of ownership and minimize operational spend by getting in newer, fresher vehicles. And we're going to provide a lower sustainable cost that is predictable year over year, which I think has been the larger challenge. Lastly, by allowing all Lynchburg City Schools to replace all of its vehicles over 5 years is going to be able to create a sustainable savings of over $700,000 in a 10-year time period. So within the 10 years, we'll be able to replace the entire fleet twice. So just to address a couple common questions I typically get, number one, these are new vehicles. They're factory ordered. All come with a manufacturer warranty on these vehicles. Factory ordered means they're customized. We get them with as few features as we need or as many as we need. And then lastly, the program is just as easy to roll off as it is to roll on. So if the school board was ever in a situation where they said, hey, we don't want to do this anymore, then there are multiple options to easily take possession of the vehicles, the schools themselves. Thank you.
Questions?
I have some questions.
Mr. Connor, let Mr.
Oh,
Connor go.
good.
Go ahead.
What other school systems are currently using Enterprise?
Yeah, great question. So a number of schools we work with across, within the Commonwealth where I'm at. So Wise County Public Schools, Roanoke City Public Schools, Nottoway County Public Schools, just to name a few.
That's Roanoke City,
Correct.
and you said
Roanoke City Schools, Wise County Public
Nottoway.
Schools, Nottoway County Public Schools.
Mr. Lowry?
Okay, so how does this affect insurance? You said it's like over $1,000 insurance for cars that,
So we will continue to carry our liability insurance on these vehicles. The insurance, we're already paying for insurance for vehicles that have no value, and it is a standard insurance rate that we pay for the vehicles. I don't anticipate that insurance going up much. But that is a discussion that I will have with VACOR once the school board directs us to continue with those conversations.
so you're just saying you'd rather pay insurance for vehicles at value versus. what
That
you
is
don't?
correct.
Gotcha.
Currently, we've identified 5 potential lines. The Maintenance and Operations Department has identified 5 lines that we could potentially save money in because we're spending a lot of money to keep these very old vehicles on the road, not only in repair costs, not only in parts, but in the gas. Those vehicles are a lot less fuel-friendly than newer vehicles are. So we see some potential for savings that would actually offset the cost of this contract. In addition to that, Enterprise has offered to sell our existing vehicles, the approximately 18 existing vehicles, and then put the money that is made off of that sale back into the contract to reduce our contract costs by the amount that we get off of those vehicles.
So who does the maintenance? Do we do them or does Enterprise?
We will continue to do the maintenance, although they're all under warranty. But so we have the capacity to do the maintenance. We anticipate there will be a lot less maintenance issues and calls for maintenance. We'll continue to do the routine oil changes and things like that. But these are brand-new vehicles, this year. So we don't anticipate there being a lot of things that happen to them. However, if something were to come up and we were to get a vehicle that, was a lemon or something like that, we would work with Enterprise to get one to replace that.
So this is only for Lynchburg City School vehicles, not for the staff and everybody else?
It is for our work trucks
Okay.
and things of that nature, yes.
Okay, I'm done.
That's another question. Now, this might be water on the bridge. Why have we allowed our vehicles to get 17 years old? Why didn't we like do something like public surplus to, you know, when they got down, no more warranty, no more age? Many schools, cities use something like public surplus and they auction the vehicles off and bring the revenue in and buy new vehicles. Why haven't we done that?
So I can't speak past last year for Lynchburg City Schools.
Yes, exactly.
But I do know that that is the one thing that most public school systems and most governments push down the road. That is the can they kick. Oh, it's still running. Let's try to get 1 more or 2 more years out of it. So that is the last thing that, you know, we try to take care of the emergent and the immediate needs now, and vehicles are last on the list. Now, if it comes to a police department or a fire department, those are the first things on the list because of the nature of what they do. But to me, I just think it was a matter of lack of funding and kicking the can down the road and other emergent needs that jumped in front of it. It's easy to happen. You know, I'm not faulting anyone or pointing the finger. We are not the only ones that find ourselves in this situation. There are lots of public schools and local governments that do.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Understanding, I'm the same way as you are. I'd rather have the depreciation. I know that we have budget constraints. We have 5 lines of vehicles that potentially, not guaranteed, but potentially, seems like it's a good potential that this program is going to benefit us. Can you tell me why it wouldn't or shouldn't, wouldn't or shouldn't use this program?
Well,
What concerns you?
So if I were in another type of governing where I had my own fund, potentially there would be an asset depreciation that I could write off. Since we're part of a general fund, that's not a benefit that we get because we're a part of a general fund. So that would be the only concern that I would have going in this direction if I were in another type of entity. In our type of entity, I think going this direction is going to save us money in trying to purchase these 18-plus vehicles, and they're failing. These vehicles are failing us. And so we are going to have to come up with the money to try to fix these failing vehicles, or we're going to have our employees walking because we don't have the equipment. We are not providing them the proper equipment to do their job.
That's what I thought. That's what I heard you saying.
Yes, sir.
But you were kind of dismissing it at the beginning, but I just.
Yeah.
That's what I thought I heard you say.
Since we are a part of a general fund and we don't, we are a component of a general fund, when we get, our audits are looked at in a slightly different way. In my opinion, this is the cleanest way to procure this many vehicles at one time and get the benefit of saving on repair cost, on fuel cost, on all of those things, and also auctioning off or getting rid of all of this other equipment, all these other vehicles that are just going to sit around once they go defunct, that we don't have a mechanism by the way of getting rid of them. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Yes.
There's no reason not to do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Zalil is going first. and then-
Yes, sir. Thank you for your presentation. I see that you have a potential savings of sustainable savings of $744,000. And then up earlier, you have $542,000 impact. Is that together or separate in your understanding of this?
I'm sorry, can you clarify your question?
Yes, up in near the top here, it says you have an impact statement of reducing our fleet spend by $542,000.
Correct. So yes, the reason for the delta there is essentially unrealized equity. So we're looking at a 10-year period, and essentially that's a savings over 10 years. So around $50,000 a year if we do the math. But the unrealized equity is essentially the equity in the vehicles that are halfway through their cycle at year 10 that we haven't essentially realized yet. So if the program cut off at that point, you'd have a ton of equity left, and that's where the difference is coming from.
Got it. And who will maintenance the vehicles that are going to be sold 10% above the black book value, or will they be sold as is?
Yeah, they'll be sold as is.
All right.
So consistently, across again, hundreds of thousands of vehicles that we're selling, if you're familiar with Kelley Blue Book, there's a commercial version of that called black book value, and we're consistently selling at 10% above what that black book value demands in a marketplace. So the reason for pointing that out, and the reason it's beneficial for Lynchburg City Schools, is because that equity comes back to them.
Goes back to you.
Correct.
That's
Goes
good.
back to that vehicle fund.
We also have a elementary building that we need to be auctioned off. If you do that as well, we could trade you some vehicles for that, and that would be good. But if you don't do that, then.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul?
Yeah, so I have and thanks for your presentation, a few questions, about 4 or 5.
Sure.
So how has Lynchburg City Schools in the past managed their maintenance and their fleet of vehicles?
So I can only speak to through last year. I think with the age of our fleet, I think that they have kicked the can down the road. Now, I do know that if a new vehicle is purchased, we somehow found it in the budget to do that. Usually, I believe they kind of targeted at the end of the fiscal year, if there was any money left over, that they would go to the city and say, hey, can we use this to purchase vehicles? There hasn't been a lot of years where there was money left over, as evident in the age of our fleet, but I think that is in theory how they operated prior to now.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm asking, like, do you all have like on-site techs, or like a fleet department?
So yes, sir, we have a transportation department, and we have mechanics in that transportation department to help with buses and those type of vehicles. We also have a maintenance department that also has a skill set built into it to manage these types of vehicles. I believe we can do oil changes in-house on vehicles, so those are costs that we absorb through our employee base. The real cost is when it comes to these older vehicles and they have to go to repair shops, and that's when we start accruing a lot of bills in regards to that.
So my next question is, have you all looked at any other companies other than Enterprise?
Well, so Enterprise, from a procurement standpoint, is on state contract. The Sourcewell that he spoke about, that's a state contract. So we could legitimately go to any state contract. Enterprise at this point is offering us the package deal, so to speak, with selling our vehicles and all of those things. So we just felt like a partnership with Enterprise was a win-win for the school system.
And my last question for now.
Yes, sir.
Has LCS looked at a partnership with the city's fleet to actually take a look at all this and merge your fleet? And since they already have that system set up that works on vehicles, techs, all that good stuff.
So we have a similar system in our transportation department and maintenance departments. I can't answer that question. I haven't been here and saw prior studies and conversations with that. At this point, I can't answer your question fully with the full information.
So I do have a statement. I personally would like to see that discussion had to see, because it could be more beneficial, to look and see what that partnership.
We can absolutely explore all avenues. Whatever's going to be the most efficient, save us the most money, we'll explore all avenues at this point. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jalil.
I concur with Mr. Poe. This is a good opportunity to find out what the city does for this issue. And if we just know that, then we do a little comparison. That would be great. Do you know anything about that, sir?
Haven't spoken with the city regarding theirs.
Okay, just something I would like to find out.
If it helps, we work with a number of cities and towns as well across. So,
So my question would simply be, what is your advantage over your competitors?
So I'd start with number one, our reach, right? Our economies of scale. So like I mentioned, Enterprise is the largest transportation company in the country, right? So footprint spanning over 2 million vehicles. We buy more vehicles than anyone. We also sell more vehicles than anyone every single year. So when it comes to having the relationships with manufacturers and our network of dealerships, our network for immediate needs, our network of maintenance shops if needed, but also, like I mentioned, the returns and equity on the resale side, it's unmatched. So Enterprise has been established as a company for 68 years, so it's still third generation family owned. Got its name from our founder walking off the USS Enterprise. So with a longstanding history of success and being able to help specifically within the fleet management world, we have over 14,000 clients across the country. So with a good about 20% of them being government clients.
Question.
Mr. Connor, and then you. Go ahead.
Okay, so is it my understanding that we don't have an annual budget to purchase vehicles?
No, sir. I believe in the past, there is no CIP money set aside for vehicle purchases. I believe in the past, what they did was, at the end of the fiscal year, if they had revenues over their expenditures and had a little extra money, they would go to the city and request to bring back that money to purchase a fleet. Now, some who have been here longer than me may have a little bit more detail on that, but from my understanding, that's how it transpired in prior years.
So my second question is.
Yes, sir.
There must be a annual maintenance budget for these vehicles.
Yes, we've identified 5 lines.
Okay.
That we could potentially decrease those lines to offset the cost of this particular lease. Yes.
Because that's what my question is. We don't have a budget to purchase vehicles.
We have a budget to maintain.
We have a budget to maintain, and you're
That's-
saying that the budget, money that we have set aside currently to maintain this fleet of outdated vehicles would pay for the monthly lease costs of renting vehicles from Enterprise.
Well, so it would go towards the lease cost of it. It won't cover the entire lease cost. There will be a bit that we will have to identify other budget savings to go to that.
So my
But
question
a
is-
good portion of the existing lines that have been identified will go towards this lease agreement.
So
Yes,
since we don't have and have not had a vehicle purchase budget,
correct.
now we're going to create additional revenue costs to buy and lease vehicles from Enterprise when we weren't using.
So what we will do is take funds, expenditures from these lines that have been exceeding their budget because of the age of our fleet, and move that over to a purchase services line that will maintain a lease, because we're purchasing the service from Enterprise to have these vehicles. So that would be the mechanism by which we would do that.
And we'll know what the additional cost is before we agree to do this, because there's gotta be some additional cost. We're just transferring maintenance costs over to, and then we're gonna be paying monthly leases on each one of these vehicles, 18 monthly leases.
Well, we would prefer to do it annually, but yes, sir, we would know the difference. But There is a little variable in there in that we're not sure what we are going to get from these 18-plus vehicles that's going to go back into the contract to create a contract savings for us. So, close your ears, we may end up on the good side of this decision as far as the expense of it. May. Yes, sir. There's a may in it.
I like what I'm hearing. I'm interested in the normal length of a contract as well as a free look so that everyone's questions, if we choose to pass this tonight, what would be the free look period of the agreement with you? And what is a typical contract term?
So as far as the typical contract term, so we have these set up on 60-month leases.
5 years?
Correct, yes. Now, with the big emphasis of, at any given point, if there's, dissatisfaction or whatever reason we want to end the lease, that there, like I said, there are multiple ways for Lynchburg City Schools to take possession of these vehicles, whether it's we sell them and give the proceeds of funds back to the city schools, or they're bought outright by Lynchburg City Schools. There's multiple different ways that we can go about that.
And
So, oh yeah.
so free look, like
Can
we
you
say yes
elaborate?
tonight?
I'm not sure.
Free look is like something in insurance, buyer's remorse happens the day after and everyone on the board decides they really didn't want to do it. If we agree, we have a time period between now and, I guess, paperwork is going to be signed. If we agree to this, that doesn't obligate us. We have to have an actual signed contract from you, I'm assuming. What is that free look period?
Yeah, so I know that contracts, paperwork, and everything has been looked over and vetted by administration, but yeah, there's no set, there's no clock on this, if that's what your question.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Lavia?
And if I may, answer to that, we have sent this contract over to City Attorney Towns, and she has looked over it as well. The reason we're bringing this to you now is there are brand-new vehicles that we can get at a reduced rate. So we are trying to get those before the new vehicles come out, and we miss the opportunity to get these vehicles at a reduced rate. So that's why we are, asking you to consider this contract at this time.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
Yes, ma'am.
it's clear as mud.
Yes.
We're gonna take our maintenance money, and we're going to wait until we sell those, get back what we might get for revenue, and then get on a yearly plan to make a payment. So whatever that difference is, we'll liquidate something somewhere else to close the gap for
Yes, ma'am.
financially paying for it by the year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the intent.
So it's a car payment, pretty much, but.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
but we would do it annually versus monthly.
Okay.
It's just cleaner.
Okay.
From, nobody has to remember to make that car payment every month.
All right. And my other question was for you, Dr. Gupta, because you've been on the board the longest. And I know before, we tried to combine the buses with the city to see if that would work. And so, in all your years, has the other boards tried to do this? Say, well, the fleet thing, what they were talking about, or has the city said, no, we're going to do our own thing?
Consolidation is important,
Very important.
and can I,
Oh, yeah.
I have heard all the rosy things. $75,000 in maintenance will be saved, but what I have not heard is the cash out from the school district to enterprise on a yearly basis for lease. What is the dollar amount?
It's approximately $213,000.
On yearly basis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, the first year could come in less because if we sell the vehicles, we're able to put those vehicles back into that contract. So, but it's approximately $213,000. It hasn't changed since y'all.
Correct, yeah, same.
Because it's the mileage, you said there's no mileage limit on these vehicles,
Correct.
right? You can put 100,000 miles and you're okay with that in a year.
Correct, yeah, what that would affect is the resale we're able to sell the vehicle for, which we have estimated at the beginning. So we've looked at the data from the current schools' vehicles, and they're averaging anywhere from 10 to 15,000 miles per year.
The resale will be on your shoulders, whatever the resale is. What will be the turnaround of these vehicles? How often will you replace this? So if we run 100,000 miles in first year, and we say we'd like to get a new, what's your threshold to switch over to the new vehicle? What mileage level?
Yeah, so-
30,000, 40,000?
Yeah, the way we have them set up right now, again, estimating around 10,000 miles per year, anywhere from 50 to 60,000 miles will be selling these vehicles because they'll be at 5 years old. What that allows us to do is sell a vehicle that's still worth a good amount of money and put that either as a down payment, as an invoice credit back for the city schools. So we're not pouring money into operating a vehicle that's that's every day being worth less and less, and also out of warranty. So we're not pouring a bunch of money into operational costs on these vehicles. We're keeping money in the capital budget for them to reduce the amount that we're spending to operate them. Not to mention the downtime on the vehicles. So what happens if a vehicle's down? Also the soft costs like your labor hours and people that are, is it in their job description to actually be doing the maintenance performed or shuttling these back and forth from dealerships? So factoring in all those is where we're looking at truly what we consider the total cost of ownership. So to answer your question, 60 months we have these vehicles set up on. The vehicles are typically doing anywhere from 10 to 15,000 miles per year, but we're estimating them to have around 50 to 60,000 miles at the point of resale at 5 years to then cycle a vehicle back and get a new
If it goes
vehicle.
above 15, like normally car dealerships will charge you a surcharge. So are you guys, I have not seen the contract, so I apologize. Is there a surcharge if we exceed 15,000 or 10,000 threshold?
No, sir. So what that would impact is, I'm going to use very round numbers here, not a mathematician. So on say a $40,000 vehicle, after 5 years, that vehicle's worth $20,000 with the estimated mileage on it. If we put an extra 5,000 miles on it, or let's say an extra 50,000 miles on it, it's worth $10,000 less. So at this point, it's only worth $10,000. We're going to sell it, but that means you get $10,000 less off of that, from that vehicle's proceeds.
My other question, let me just finish my last question, and I'll yield the floor to you. The $75,000 maintenance cost is all savings, is it all coming from parts, or is it labor? Are we losing employees in that process?
No, sir. We have not slated any employees to lose. There will be additional other vehicles for them to have to maintain that the school system has. We are just looking at replacing the oldest vehicles that are failing on us for our employees.
How did it $75,000 came? Is just purely the cost of parts, or parts plus labor?
I can answer that. That was parts plus labor just for these light and medium duty vehicles. So something to keep in mind is my understanding that the employees who are responsible for maintaining these vehicles are also responsible for maintaining school buses, which are hundreds of thousands of dollars and cost a lot more to maintain. So allowing them to focus more on the proactive and preventative replacement of preventative maintenance of those vehicles allows for less time spent on these non-important vehicles, if you will, right?
Mr. DePaul.
Okay, direct question. You gave us a cost of $200,000+ over the next 5 plus, and it's going to provide us a savings of 70-some. Have you seen the line items on the budget that this is anticipating as being $300,000, and we're going to be replacing that $300,000 line with the 218? You've seen that? You've added it up?
Yes, sir. I've got 5 line items
Super.
Pointed out.
I got you.
On
That's all. You've been saying this, and sometimes it doesn't register. That's what I assumed you said. I just wanted to get it out clear that you saw it in the budget, that it's X, and you're coming in, this group is coming in at X minus $70,000.
Yes, thereabouts. I think that we will end up to the good at the end of the fiscal year.
Fair enough. I was just being direct of what I was assuming, but I didn't want to end it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because I keep hearing, unless something's changed over there at the garage, the bus mechanics work on buses. They're not even certified to work on gasoline vehicles. They're diesel mechanics. The gasoline vehicles go into a separate garage. And there's a separate team that works on those vehicles. So we're saying they've been combined in the last couple of years, or?
Again.
I still think that you have your segregation of those types of maintenance employees.
Okay.
That do the different levels. The bus mechanics are extremely skilled, and professional in their expert level, but there are also other mechanics that we have that are general maintenance mechanics that work on all of the vehicles, all of the machines, all of the
all that, yeah.
lawnmowers and all of those things.
Those are
That
two
is
separate-
the sect of mechanics that are performing work on these vehicles. We will still have need for them. They're not going anywhere. We have other vehicles and other equipment and other machines that they will still need to maintain. Yes, sir.
Mrs. Lowry, you got a question?
No, I don't.
Mr. Knight.
No.
Yeah, I think the bottom line for me is whether we're gonna save money in the long run. I know sometimes when we think about old vehicles, sometimes if you maintain them well, they can still do the job. I have 4 vehicles, no pun intended, and I maintain them well, and they do me well. But again, I would say the bottom line is, are we gonna be able to save the system some money when all is said and done? If that pans out and we have money saved, then I'm all for that. That's the bottom line.
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we table this until we can take a deeper dive into this. I think we need more information.
I
I
second.
think we need more information on what the current costs are, specific, and then compared to what the potential costs could be, because, his had a great question. So we're saying 5 years, 50,000, 60,000 miles. And if these vehicles are doing 100,000 miles a year, we're going into the red. I'd like to know what the current mileage on these old vehicles, what the mileage is, so we can look and see, okay, this vehicle's 10 years old and it has X amount. That tells us what we've been actually using. I just think we need more information.
You made a motion, is there a second?
No, I want to, before we do that, I want to just put on, I think I have to do it before it's seconded, that I want to put a different motion ahead. I don't know whether you have to rescind yours. I really think it's a good idea that we should go ahead with this. So how would I go and do that?
Once he second, you can put a substitute motion.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Poe, you seconded the motion?
Yeah, second, and I want some commentary.
Yep. Go ahead.
I really think we should take a look at some other options. I brought up the city. I think we should take a look to see what our options are. It sounds like to me that we're putting on a Band-Aid on a bigger issue. I don't have enough information, but that's what it sounds like to me, and I think we should definitely take a deeper dive and see what our other options are.
Okay, I'd like to offer a substitute motion that we do accept this, based on the way new models are coming out. I don't know if you're going to have them for a couple, 2-3 months, or someone else is going to take the deal. I think it's an opportunity that we take it now, or we do it now. And because I think what we're going to come in a couple months, or however long it takes us to look through this, I think we're going to come up with the same conclusion, and we might have it a little more pricey contract.
Is there a second to that substitute motion?
Second.
Mrs. Lowry, all right. Well, Madam, discussion on substitute motion.
Okay, my discussion is, my other thing is, I feel like if we could have combined with the city before, we would have done it by now. So I'm not sure why that hasn't ever taken place with us joining with their fleet, and why nobody's ever thought of that. So to me, I'm thinking city's not going to do that, because they failed for us to join with the buses. They just said, no, we're not going to do that either. So that's why I'm thinking that's probably not going to pan out like we think. And if they're the largest company in the nation doing this, anybody smaller is probably going to come in under our expectations when we need things to turn out for the betterment, because they're more like mom and pa instead of a nationwide that can accommodate us. And then my other thing was still just that as long as when we are doing this budget for the annual budget for this, whatever you said, liquidate some other lines, what other line, that's my other concern, what other lines are going to be liquidated? Like, who's gonna be missing out on whatever?
So
not
we
getting
have
their
some
budget?
identified lines for materials and supplies that we spend on our older vehicles that we could move that money into a purchase service
Oh, okay.
line. Capital outlay, we carry about $40,000 in there we could move into the purchase service lines. Our vehicle fuel lines who cost us more now because of the older model vehicles, we could move some of that funding
Okay.
into. So there are various lines that we feel like will reduce as a result of having a newer fleet and be able to move those funds into a
So we won't be in a hole.
purchase service line.
So we
Yes.
won't be in a hole.
Correct.
All
That is
right.
the intent. The
Okay.
intent is to create a more healthy, sustainable environment for Lynchburg City Schools, not, recommend decisions that are going to send us elsewhere.
Other questions?
Yeah, again, could we say, look at this a little bit more closely in our budget meeting when we do meet?
That's
To get,
that's the main motion.
yeah, I would say that, I think I'm in agreement with that stance.
So,
You know, this is a good idea. I like the idea, but I just feel like it's a little bit of a rush. We don't have all the details of it, at least in my spirit, that's the way I feel. And,
Mr. Barron, and I think somebody had.
How long have you been working on this particular deal?
The former deputy superintendent has been working on it longer than I inherited it after that departure. So I've been working on it about a month, maybe month and a half. So I'm not sure how long you guys have been
We're
working.
working with Dr. Woodica since January on this.
Oh, so this is not quick.
So we've
Yes.
put together multiple
Not
analyses.
good.
So my question is, one, I assume you've done some of the questions have been asked, you've done some of the homework on that. So like, do we know the average annual mileage on our vehicles in the current fleet? What is that?
The average annual mileage,
It's on the chart here.
annual mileage driven or annual mileage on all vehicles?
Per year, what are we putting on these vehicles? You're saying you're assessing at a 10 to
Yeah,
15 per year. Is
less
that,
than-
I assume that's based on real data, not just a number that you guys are using by industry standard?
Correct. Yeah, we're looking at less than 10,000 miles.
So you'll never see the fifty.
Okay. And then my other question is, what is a time frame? We talk about, I'm never one to pull quick trigger unnecessarily. So what is the time frame we're looking at? We say, hey, we have these vehicles that we can get right now for a much better deal. Where do we lose out on that?
So model years for model year 2026 for many manufacturers is already in production right now. Chevrolet, for example, a lot of these vehicles that we're looking at replacing were cargo vans because most of those are they're over 10 years old, 10.8 years old. So we're looking at replacing those with Chevrolet cargo vans, and they're still open for 2025, but that is going to be closing here within the next week, 2 weeks max. So then we're going to have to wait for a couple months to even consider placing an order and then getting it factory ordered. So we're talking 4 or 5 months, at least till delivery.
Okay. Oh, I think, just if I can make just general comment about that, information that I see, again, I'm not one to be rushed into something, but my first question was, how long have you guys been working on this? It's been some time, right? So it's not that we're rushing into something. We've gotten the information until just now.
Yeah.
But I'm inclined to trust the people that we put into positions to do this work, that they've done their homework, that they've done due diligence. So that's number one. Two, I think there is, because of the nature of the timeline, I think we have to consider. I would love to see what the city would do. I would love to see that. But I'm not optimistic that would be a quick turnaround. It may take another, you said since January, it might take another 6 months before we get that information. So those are my thoughts.
My concern is, I was on the finance committee since January, not once in any of our finance meetings was this brought to the finance committee to even start looking at it. So being on the finance committee and on the school board, this is the first I heard of it. I should have heard about it 6 months ago.
But you gotta remember,
Well, I should not,
No,
the
I
truth
know.
is the truth.
I
I should have
know.
heard about this 6
I
months
know.
ago so that we could be Well, and we'd be making a much more informed decision, but now we're up against the wall. If we don't make a decision tonight, we're gonna lose something. You know, it's like, oh, if you don't, you know, even we don't need something, we're gonna run because it's on sale. You know, yeah, they're on sale, but is, you know, I wanna know, is this actually gonna save us the money? You know, I just have some concerns.
Understood.
And
Same here, I'm not comfortable voting for substitute motion because January to August is 8 months. And as board, we are hearing for the very first time. Every process we have in place, in my mind, has been undermined by that. It just brought to us as an action item in August, as an action item, where we know everything has to go through committee processes, right? That's the understanding, where we vet it out through the committee, they take a deeper dive, then it comes to the board for discussion. So purely on that principle, to set up a wrong precedence, I'm gonna vote no for the substitute motion. Any other discussion before I call for vote?
I just wanted to rebuttal. You know, there's been changes in leadership. The city's fleet, the fire department, their public safety used to have their own fleet. They've merged that. We have a city council that's seemingly interested in merging and saving and consolidating. So again, I think that's something that we should visit. We don't know why it did not happen in the past. We're only assuming. Maybe somebody did ask, maybe they didn't. I think it's worth investigating. We don't know how tariffs and different things. I remember after the pandemic, it was, you know, you don't know how finding new vehicles, how that may affect being able, the ability to find new vehicles, which that could be anybody. And I just think whether it's a city or whether it's another company, we should look at our options.
Thank you.
So my last point of discussion is, so if we're gonna try to save money though with this deal, is there any way we can connect with city council within a week and get it to finance, even if it requires an emergency meeting, so you can take that deeper dive and have an answer for them in 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks?
I don't have an exact date. They can close
In
it.
about 2 weeks. I mean, is that a possibility?
Well, we do have a meeting set up the week from today.
There's a CI requires much more complicated budgeting. It's not that easy just to meet the city council,
Okay.
get the
gotcha.
funding.
I
appropriate.
didn't know.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on substitute motion, please?
And clarify the substitute motion is to approve this, correct?
This correct contract, yeah.
Okay.
Mr.
Substitute
Barron?
motion is to approve the contract as presented to the board tonight.
Yes.
Mr. Ali? No. Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Connor, Mr. Connor?
No.
Dr. Gupta?
No.
Mr. DePaul?
Yes.
Mr. Jalil?
No.
Dr. Farmer?
No.
Mr. Poe?
No.
Motion failed.
We come to the main motion now to table it. Is there a discussion on the main motion?
I'm all for the, the decision overall, but I wanted to put forth a tentative approval while we look at what the city does. But because there's a deadline, we have the opportunity to, the possibility of missing out on this. I don't want to do that. We can have an emergency meeting. If we do our own research, we don't need to wait for the city's departments. We just need to talk to whoever we need to and find out what has been done, why it's not going, hasn't gone forward, and then we can make a decision at our next meeting. The gentleman isn't sure as to when our hard deadline is for losing this opportunity, but we have apparently at least 1 week. So I think we should try and make all our questions answered within a week's time. If we focus on this and not so many other things, we can get this done pretty quickly, because it is an opportunity we don't want to miss out if we have nothing else afterwards. It'll just be gone. So I would do a tentative approval, but I'm so interested in seeing why the city hasn't gone forth with it. And I just, I would ask that we make this an agenda item for next week to discuss.
Other discussion? Mrs.
My other
Lowry.
question is, what kind of turnaround time are we looking at for this deeper dive?
Well, we want to, I would like to have it on, at the next finance meeting. It should be a,
Which is?
agenda item, which is this coming Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
I want, like, 'cause I have questions really on what we're I need to see line by line what we are spending now.
Sure.
And I still have a question is why have we never had a annual capital budget for buying vehicles? So, I mean, we won't be able to answer that question, but I think if the finance committee is able to take a deeper dive, then we can make an informed decision. I think right now this is a great PowerPoint presentation, but it doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
Other discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron?
I'm sorry, can we, one more time? The motion on the table is to table?
To Finance Committee.
Table
Okay,
to the-
yeah, yes.
Mr. Eileen?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Dr. Gupta?
Yes.
Mr. DePaul?
No.
Mr. Jalil?
Yes.
Dr. Farmer?
Yes.
Mr. Poe?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next one is school board member reports. Gov School, Mrs. Lowry.
Is tomorrow,
Thank you. Laurel, Mrs. Lowry.
September 3rd.
Thank you. STEM Academy, Mr. Poe.
Yeah, so the STEM Academy on Wednesday, where are my notes? Sorry. They're juniors. I think they have about 9 juniors coming into this school year from Lynchburg City Schools, because this is a regional academy, and 7 seniors. Orientation will be Wednesday for the juniors at 8 and Thursday at 9 for the seniors. The next board meeting is September 9th, I believe. And I plan on going to visit the school in September once the students have gotten enrolled and all that good stuff.
Thank you. Next one is Finance and Facilities, Mr. DePaul.
Next week.
Thank you. Legislative Advocacy, Mr. Jalil.
Next week.
Thank you. Academic Success, Mrs. Lowry.
September 23rd.
Thank you. Partners in Education, Mr. Ali and Ms. Dr. Farmer.
We haven't made a decision on that yet in terms of time.
Thank you. LCS Ed Foundation, Mr. DePaul, Mr. Jalil.
Lazy liaisons.
I think that, we'll
Nothing
update
yet.
you.
Thank you. Beacon of Hope, Mr. Barron, Mr. Poe.
I actually spoke to Ms. Queen today, and just 3 things I want to report back. In June, 75 LCS students completed their month-long paid internships at 25 Lynchburg companies. The experience includes soft skills training, career exploration, and internship site placement. Second, today and tomorrow, their future center teams at both high schools are hosting college application and essay boot camps to help students get a head start on their applications before school begins. And lastly, but not leastly, in partnership with EC Glass, they're hosting a Glow Up at Glass during enrollment day. This is pretty cool. 12:30 to 6:30 p.m. After receiving their schedule, students can enjoy a free pampering service, including haircuts, nail care, and more. So they're doing great work.
Thank you. Next one is Student Discipline, Mr. Connor.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Ad Hoc Achievement Gap, Mrs. Lowry.
We had our first meeting July 16th. Our next meeting is tomorrow. Our goal is to have the assignments to split up the research work, and this committee aims to have the direction for the board on September 10th. Any needed continuous work will be picked up by the Academic Success Committee to serve reports to the board on gap goals through the year.
Thank you. Next one is Superintendent comment, Dr. Midget.
Yes. Well, good evening again. I just have a few comments. As you all know, it's been about 30 days since I've been here, so as I'm working through the entry plan, I really have appreciated just the rich discussions I've had with many, many people. I've met with probably just about everyone on the board. Some of us have even a follow-up meeting because the conversation kept going, and I appreciate just asking the entry plan questions, getting to know each of you individually, working with the staff, community partners. I've had a lot of meetings, but really good discussions about how people see our strengths in LCS and then how they want to help us continue to grow and to move the needle for kids. Monday, we had our new teacher orientation. Huge thank you to our HR department as well as the instructional department and technology. I know he's part of instruction, but just doing some really cool work with AI. Of getting those new teachers acclimated and getting them going. We have just about over 70 new teachers. And then I just want to touch on today. I really, really want to say thank you, board members, for coming out today. And, you know, part of my entry plan was the bus ride. And I do, like, you know, I've been driving around the city in my little car. But I really just appreciated you coming out. I knew you would have a long night tonight, but giving me part of your day so that we could go out and just you know, just a quick bus run, but to see where some of our students live, the neighborhoods. Just for me, it was just so important to just see the role that transportation plays, a huge role of getting our kids to and from school safely. We saw some of those roads were narrow. They were narrow. And just the skill of our drivers and the hard work that they put in to make that happen. But really just giving me a better understanding of the neighborhood from which our kids come from, because that helps me to better serve. And so I just wanted to, as being returning here 22 years later, which I figured out today when we went by EC Glass, but just really appreciative of you all taking your time to do that with me. And then if any of you all want to ride any other time and hop in the little car with me, we can, and just be individually. But truly just appreciate that support for our kids and community. It's so I just want to give you a huge kudos on that. And then that's it for my comment.
Thank you. We'll start with board comment. Mr. Poe?
I'm sorry.
Board member comment.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. That's actually some of those narrow streets where I grew up at, so it's definitely appreciative of the job that our school bus drivers interested. Also from some of that discussion, how we can improve and get our bus driver capacity to full, different things of that nature. Again, just happy to be on board. I appreciate the ad hoc committee for working on the achievement gap and everybody coming together and voicing their perspectives and opinions, no matter how different, just so we can make sure that we make Lynchburg City Schools a much better place.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Farmer?
I also want to thank you for that ride. But I also want to thank you for coming and talking to us and allowing us to share with you. That meant a whole lot
Thank you.
to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jalil?
Yes. I think it's a good idea, and I hope to take a ride soon, someday. We have a great opportunity for Lynchburg City Schools to make this difference with so many new members of the administration in an upcoming year. I do hope and pray that we make a difference that changes the direction of Lynchburg City Schools. I would like to give some insight on a number of different ideals that we could focus on, but I'm just going to summarize it by saying I think we need to make sure the culture of academia is a high standard of professionalism amongst the students. We already know we're mature as adults to the degree that we are teaching and learning, doing our PT, but the students need an academic environment mentality so that everything focuses on that, and then all the secondary things, the sports and the fun that they have it's in its proper place. I think it's a quote that says something akin to culture eats something for breakfast. Strategy. So if you can create a culture around academia, you make a large difference. Our students need to learn how to learn. That's a big deal. If they could learn the techniques of the brainstorming and review and learning how to learn the things that they're expected to learn, that will make a difference. How to store information and read effectively, mind mapping. And then, in line with Mr. Reed, who spoke earlier today, we have large differences between our school system and international school systems. Briefly, I'll talk on, I think people should look up Japan versus the United States, what 10-year-olds do differently. It's a 9-minute and 35-second video. Calculus is the Shakespeare of mathematics. Too many topics too quickly is one of our problems in the United States. We have not changed our secondary mathematics, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, since the 1890s, very much at all. And there's a Dr. Caldwell who testified at the House Committee on Science that U.S. textbooks contain many more topics than those in other countries. Science texts gives to our 8th graders over 67 topics, in Germany, 9. So it's a good way to learn less and less as you offer more and more. Process does not equal value. Teaching does not equal learning. Advancement does not equal education. Diplomas do not equal competency. And originality, creativity, and wit do not equal fluency. We have to be careful of these things as we go forward in making our plans and making a difference at LCS. If we do what we've always done, we'll get what we always have gotten. And I would like you to be encouraged that I can see great changes on the horizon, but we need to make certain that it's not just a new curriculum, just a new person in a certain place, just a new look at the VDOE website. It has to be a significant cultural shift around academic success. And the only thing I would like to practically share as a tip is anyone who has A's and B's should go to the head of line in everything. The head of the lunch line, head of the bathroom line, head of every line possible, getting a free ticket to play a game. If they have A's and B's, let's try to support the students who do that as we do with other things like sports. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DePaul?
To add to what Mr. Gilio was saying, with regards to kids first, students first, we'll get students first as soon as we have our teachers first.
Thank you. Mr. Connor?
I just want to say I want to thank Dr. Majette. Really enjoyed the bus ride. Brought back some mixed feelings. When he turned that one corner, I said, I've turned that corner in a bus before, so I know how, and he did a great job.
Yes.
So I have a heart for the bus drivers and that staff. But I want to say I want to appreciate that the time you've given each board member to meet one-on-one and allowed us, I mean, it was just open. You didn't have like a preconceived agenda with the expectation. You allowed us to just share what we thought and what we think for the future. And I just want to know that, so far I'm very pleased with the direction we're going.
Thank you. Mrs. Lowry?
I'm looking forward to the ad hoc bringing value to the solutions for LCS students, as well as the Academic Success Committee, and looking forward to visiting schools this year and reading to students like I try to do every year. And I hope the teachers have a good start to your year and be able to get into your class a little more than going to meetings. And thank you, Dr. Majette, for your open and clear leadership. I have definitely seen and truly appreciate all that you're doing. So this is a great start to a great year. Thank you.
Pastor Knight?
Again, I want to thank you, Dr. Majid, for your leadership and the buzz that you brought to the city. Seemed like there's a lot of hope and expectation, and you bring that type of a perspective to the people. And I just want to say that for me, I would like to be able to hang with you a little bit. Maybe if I can go to some of the schools and kind of tag along, if that'd be okay. And one of the things that I did mention to you when we had a conversation was I would love to see how we can connect with our parents, our families. I know academic is good. I know, the learning in the classroom, all that is wonderful. But I think that necessary component of us making contact with the families, with the parents, we got to find a way to be able to connect with them and to be able to get them on board so that they will become part of the team as well. So I don't know. I had a crazy idea. I don't know if it would pan out on the board level or not, but maybe us going to the neighborhoods at some point in time, have a open block party or something and invite the parents to come out and just talk to them, you know, and have them all engaged. So, you know, so that's kind of my passion, and I kind of share that with you, and I hope that maybe at some level we'll be able to implement something like that along the way.
Thank you. Mr. Baer?
Well, again, I share the same sentiment, Mr. Connor, with the Transportation Department. So I was really excited to be a part of that this afternoon. By the way, some of the longest tenured and most dedicated employees work in our Transportation Department. I know two that just retired at 33 years. That's wild. And there's a lot of them. But we need more. And so I want to continue to put out a plea for people that are able to jump in and drive a school bus. That solves a lot of our problems. You want to talk about truancy, transportation is a big piece of that puzzle, right? You want to talk about academic achievement. Transportation is often a big part of that puzzle. Great programs after school, but kids can't get to it, doesn't matter how great the programs are. So transportation is a big one for me. By the way, also, our driver today was also a mechanic. Which is not uncommon in the transportation department to have their mechanics and their office staff all out driving buses because we have so few drivers. So I just want to highlight again what a great work they're doing in that department. And I also want to just extend a humble invitation. I'm going to personally be riding a school bus, hopefully my route from last year on the first day of school, see some of my students. I want to invite you guys to participate in that as well, maybe jump on a bus. And it's one thing to ride a bus with other professionals. You really ain't seen it till you ride it with kids. Exactly. You need to get on there and ride it with the kids and see what the drivers and the aides are dealing with and what they're working with. And these kids are great kids. They really are. They're kids, but they're great kids. And it's a great place to see that in action. So I want to invite you all to consider joining and jumping on a bus the first day of school. And if not the first day of school, maybe setting up another time to be able to get on a bus and see the city from that viewpoint. But I also want to echo just the sentiments of optimism. I just see a general optimism as I'm talking to people about the schools and about within the schools. And I think the thing that really characterizes, I think, what I've seen from Dr. Majette and others I've talked to is intentionality. And I define intentionality as doing everything on purpose with purpose. And I think if we can continue to move forward that way, doing what we do on purpose, with purpose, I think we're going to go far, and it's going to be beautiful.
Thank you. I want to welcome Mr. Marshall. You want to say something to the people watching from home?
I am thrilled to be
We are
doing
too.
what I'm doing. I'm excited to work with everybody.
Thank you. And Dr. Majette, you have certainly brought in a change to the school district. But I think as school board members, we need to be role models for everybody. Today, the 8 out of the 9 board members showed up for the bus ride. I wish the participation was 100%. Superintendent has 1-to-1 meetings. 8 of the 9 board members have done it. I wish the participation was 100%. So it's easy for us to give speeches from here, but we need to be role models for what we are saying. Walk the talk. And I'm hoping and praying, hopefully we'll be able to achieve 100% participation in everything we do. We do it all together. Yeah. And not one less. And having said that, no, the next one is in the closed session, but I wanted to do informational item, if it's okay, because most of the people will leave and they don't have information, then I'll do the closed session. Next school board work session is Tuesday, August 19th at 5 p.m. LACR is August 19th at 3:30. Finance and Facilities is August 12th at 3:30. Academic Success.
September 3rd, it was moved.
It's moved to September 3rd at 3:30, same time. And the Discipline Data Review Committee is August 14th at, I'm assuming 3:30, right?
Well, academic success, no, you mean Laurel?
No, Data Review Committee, August 14th, the time the board clerk will have it.
Okay.
Now, we come to the next item, notice of closed meeting. The school board chair recommend the school board approve a motion to convene a closed meeting to discuss the following permitted by Virginia Code 2.2-3711A7, consultation with legal counsel and briefing by staff members or consultation pertaining to probable litigation where such consultation or briefing is open in open meeting would adversely affect the negotiating or litigating posture of the school board. Is there a motion to go into the closed session?
Motion?
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Barron?
Yes.
Mr. Aline?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Dr. Gupta?
Yes.
Mr. DePaul?
Yes.
Mr. Gilio?
Yes.
Dr. Palmer?
Yes.
Mr. Poe?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We go upstairs in the closed session, upstairs, right?